Hello and welcome to the next video in the privacy compliance series of how-to videos. This one will be focused on ClickAll Plus. It'll be the first video of our ClickAll Plus how-to videos. So let's dive in. This video and all the ClickAll Plus videos are going to make the most sense if you've read the previous sections of the implementation guide to understand what the purpose of ClickAll Plus is for. And just briefly, it's for the sake of expanding what an audit can test. By default, without using the ClickAll Plus feature set, an audit is only going to report on what happens in page load. There's a lot to talk about as far as how to interpret the results of a ClickAll Plus scan. We're going to do that in our last video. This video is purely just going to be about the high-level audit settings. So with that in mind, we're going to come back to understand a bit more how to make sense of the results. We're just going to acknowledge that it's an audit. You've set up an audit before, hopefully at this point. Most of the settings are largely the same. There are some things to keep in mind. Now, this is going to be sort of a more concise explanation, short form. I would recommend going to our help doc for the ClickAll Plus solution. If you type in ClickAll Plus, it'll be the first one that shows up. This is going to be more detailed, more long form. I'd highly recommend going through this. There's some code that we need. So if you're unfamiliar or uncomfortable with programming, this might be a good time to get a technical resource to help out. But there is a link to the code that you need right here. And it has the most up-to-date version of this ClickAll Plus solution. We'll go over in a second where that code lives in the settings. So first and foremost, we need to put this in a folder and subfolder as per usual. And in the subfolder that we nest this scan, this ClickAll Plus scan, it's important that we add these two objects in the data layer field, which is in the subfolder settings. And that's also included in the instructions of the help doc. The next thing that we're going to want to do is we can have this crawl, or we can have it explicitly scan pages. I have this set to crawl. If you provide a bunch of URLs to explicitly scan, that's fine. You just need to make sure that you add a string of regex to this should be included section. And so again, that's going to be in here in the document, and I'll just show you an example. So again, if we're explicitly scanning pages, this is what the include list should look like on each line. You might only need one line just like this. If I was scanning explicit pages from my www.observepoint.com site, this would be all I would need to do. So we'll move on next to on-page actions. This is where the main configuration lives. I talked about that JavaScript earlier. We're basically just pasting it once it's refined and tailored to our website and what we're trying to accomplish. We just paste it here. We'll talk more about in the next video how to refine the JavaScript, how to get it to do what we want it to do. But this is ultimately the directions that we are giving to the scan to click on elements on your site as it crawls page to page. So again, that'll come next in more detail. But when you do create this on-page action, what you want to do is make sure that you have prevent navigation turned on, unless it's important to you to test the subsequent tags and cookies that would come from the clicks. I would say majority of the time, if you're doing ClickAll Plus, you could have just run a scan without ClickAll Plus to crawl and test those page loads. So you're normally not going to need to do that. Normally, you're just going to want to do prevent navigation because we're testing the clicks and the clicks alone, or whatever custom interactions we want to set up. And then we want to click match all pages so that this on-page action executes on every page. Those are the primary settings and really the only settings that we need to worry about for ClickAll Plus. For privacy compliance sake, it is worth noting we could create a bunch of permutations of this scan. This one, I have not done anything for opt-in or opt-out. It's just going to visit the site as if the user is not interacting with the consent banner. But we might want to answer the question, what happens when someone visits the site, they opt out, and they click on all of our headers and footers, do we ever see tags or cookies show up that may put us at a compliance risk? A tag or a cookie that the user may not have consented to. So we're trying to really answer the same questions that we have been trying to answer from the previous videos with all the other configurations and scans. This just enables us to increase visibility and coverage on other parts of the site or functionality of the site that might be setting cookies and tags that we want visibility over and governance over. So the next video we'll talk more about that code and how to get it to where we need it to be. So we will see you in the next one.